Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back, folks, to another episode of Always Almost There, Day After Show Live. We are here today in the lovely Windy City of Chicago. We are recapping the first night at the Salt Shed Outdoors. It was a blast last night. We had a blast last night. What did you say?
We had fun. Fun was had.
Yeah, fun was indeed had. It's good to have you on the pod today, Danny.
Yeah, it's been a couple.
Today.
It's been a few, so it's been nice to be able to make it. Wouldn't have it any other way for the new hometown shows for me. So
there we go. Your first hometown shows as the Chicago resident. Very, very exciting. And we'll get to all that good stuff in just a second. We've got our special guest coming on right now. We've got Mr. Jack Joyce joining us today. Jack, how are you?
Outstanding. How are you guys?
Also
good, man. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
No complaints. Did you guys say you guys were just taking a dip in the water before we did this?
Yep. So we were down at the lake, just kind of off Belmont. Jack took a divvy up, and we drove down. I got a pedicure before. Talk about a proper, pre-night 2 run up and little sort of just self-love session.
I said Danny Rosewoods knows exactly how to pamper himself during a run. You know, there are very few people going out and getting pedicures on the Thursday in the middle of the run, but it's good that you're doing that.
It was needed.
Yeah. Well, let's dive into last night a little bit. Let's start with you, Jack. Your pre-show vibe, getting to the Salt Shed, kind of where you posted up.
So my pre-show vibe yesterday, I mean, like, not the most ideal because I was kind of scrambling coming from work to get to the show. And you know how that goes. Like, you got meetings that are running late and all of a sudden you're like, oh, goodness. But
whose phone's ringing?
That's me. I've got a bunch of texts that are coming through. Sorry.
Yeah. Popular man over there.
Yeah, wow.
That was just like my computer loading up a bunch of texts. But anyways, so yeah, like Chicago traffic kind of stinks. But thankfully yesterday, I didn't think that it was that bad, like getting back into the city from work, and was able to get there by about 6:20, 6:30, which was nice because they kind of came on pretty soon.
Yeah.
Which is, always a gamble. But I met up with my mom at the show, which was great. It was her first Goose show, so
love it.
She was excited, and the vibes were high.
Vibes were indeed high. It was great. By the time we got down there, after navigating the mess that is Chicago rush hour traffic, with our good friends Brendan and Becca, and
you guys
who we were driving down, and we got stuck right in the thick of it. Coming down from Evanston took us over an hour to get to the Salt Shed, which was pretty brutal. But we got in. Danny, we saw you, our good friend Jive One. Also, who else did we see? Shawnee, Justin, Adam, Jesse, Brittany. We had a whole ton of friends in Chicago this week, so it was a pleasure to get some hang time with everybody before the show. But yeah, and posted up next to the soundboard, plenty of room, lots of chomping. But this is my first time at the Salt Shed, and I have to say, like, I loved it. I have no complaints about the venue whatsoever.
Yeah, so it's a relatively new venue. I think it's only been around for like maybe 2.5 years, but the facilities are awesome. Like the bathrooms and everything are great. I'd say that the bars are pretty accessible. But yeah, the chomping last night was like rather atrocious.
Probably only
I think if you like, there are some spots where you can kind of meander around a little bit. Oh, you guys still see me?
Yes.
Okay. And the chomping's a little bit, I don't know, more bearable, I'd say. But kind of like the corners, I'd say kind of off the stage by the bars, there's a little bit less people. And then in the middle, in front of the soundboard, like the more that you sort of meander over towards the middle, there's less people talking. But I don't know. I found that you just kind of had to like wander around until you found a group of people that was just like,
we're watching,
actually listening to the music.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Really easy though. Really easy getting into the venue. I've always had a good experience with getting in. Beautiful weather, which seems like it'll be more the same tonight and tomorrow. So we're really lucky about that. All worked out. Yeah, I mean, rushing down there after work as well. I took these 2 days off, but yeah, felt a little like not crunched at all, which was good. Just take the train, walk over, got in by 5:30, 6, like we said, saw everyone. Yeah, beautiful night. So settled in.
Beautiful night. So settled in. Let's dive into the show here. Start with our first 4 songs here. Flopener, Butterflies, My Mind Has Been Consumed by Media, and Cali Magic. Let's start with you, Jack. What did you think about these?
I thought the Flopener was great energy, great way to open the show. I mean, I always love a Flopener. It just kind of sets the mood, and I was getting grooving right away. My mom was like, please calm down. She was like, what is going on right now? There's balloons that are like flying over. There are like people that are smoking pot right in front of her. And she's like, oh my God, what have you dragged me into? But yeah, like we got into it, and she's from the South, so she likes country music. And, Flopener's got a little bit of a country twang to it. So she dug it. Yeah. Flopener, I thought was great.
Yeah. Any thoughts on the next couple? Butterflies,
Media, Cali. Any thoughts?
So yeah, I liked Butterflies. First time I've ever heard it live, and I didn't have high expectations for it, honestly. But I thought Rick had some really nice kind of like looping and like riffs on Butterflies that kind of made the song a little bit more interesting for me. So Butterflies in a way was like unexpectedly fun, I'd say.
Yeah.
And then what do we have after that? Cali
My Mind Has Been Consumed by Media.
Yeah, love that one. It's just a
Glasses Cotter, backwards hat.
It's always great to hear Cotter on the vocals. The swimmer tunes that they've been whipping out in these last couple of shows, I think have been really fun. And it's just great to like hear him mix it up a little bit too, and get other guys in the band on vocals and hear like what Cotter can do. I'm excited to see if they're ever gonna jam that one out. It seemed like the intro last night was maybe a little bit more extended.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just like a fun song.
My mind has been consumed by media.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Cotter, Ryan Legvold in the chat wants to know if we've brought up Cotter's glorious drug rug yet, and we had not.
His Arabian Nights vest or
hell of an outfit he was rocking last night with the backwards hat, the open vest drug rug, if you will. And yeah, he put on sunglasses specifically for My Mind Has Been Consumed by Media, and then took them off right after. Very, very deliberate thing there. But yeah, as you mentioned, a couple solid tunes to open the set, Flow Down and Butterflies. And My Mind Has Been Consumed by Media, I love. After hearing the debut in Boston last week, this one got a nice little extended OB6 intro from Peter. But yeah, love it. Really tied the room together.
More of the same. I thought, Butterflies early, it's a little another showcase for Cotter. You can see kind of like first shows of the run. Sometimes they're getting like drum heavy tracks. We've sort of noticed throughout the summer, like first or second song, maybe first night of the run. And there was a good clip, right, where Rick was trying to wind down Butterflies and Cotter
I saw that
letting him go basically, and just kept driving. And then My Mind was fun. Cali Magic was solid. It fit kind of like the setting, I would say. Sunset was right around there too, kind of middle of the first set. Kind of started to darken a bit, but yeah, it was good start to the show. Kind of just felt like settling in essence, of course, over 6 sets, and to be expected, kind of a songy song first.
But then we get a surprise 20-minute butter rum, which I was not expecting, a 20-minute butter rum of all things. This is a really, really solid jam here. There's some interesting stuff going on. Doesn't really lose fully the sentiment of being a butter rum jam for most of it, I think. But, it's a solid first set jam, again, just letting them stretch out first set of the run. Pretty good. Jack, what are your thoughts on this rum?
I love the rum. I thought it was really fun. I mean, there were parts of the song where like I wasn't even sure they were still playing Butter Rum, and when they came back into it at the end, it was just great energy. Like my mom and I kind of got sort of stage left for that one to like escape some chompers.
Yeah.
And Andrew's light work during that as well was just phenomenal. And like the gas or fog machines or whatever you want to call them, those were popping off, and like the kind of rainbow light buttery lights were going, and it was just really fun. But the also like the fog machines, and last tour you kind of hear them even back on the soundboards. I'm not sure if you can't hear them anymore. If
They're quieter this tour.
It's less. It is quieter. Yeah.
They like I also thought last tour they almost started playing the music with kind of peaks at the fog machine, so you couldn't almost hear it. But it must be quieter now because it plays so well. But yeah, like the Butter Rum just went to some really interesting places and then tied back very nicely. It was a great first set closer.
Yeah. No, agreed.
Yeah.
Deep, you got thoughts on this rum, I know.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. Listening back, I thought the sort of middle 7-8 minute chunk, sort of once they leave the track, and kind of took it a little bit darker, like you said. I get what you mean. It sort of stayed within the confines somewhat, but I mean, I thought the peak itself was really unique. Didn't sound too, and I thought personally, I was like, well, I thought it actually sounded kind of unique for a butter rum, which was good. It's always nice to kind of be surprised, about songs that we might write off and stuff like that. I love being sort of floored in those moments. Really good peak from Rick. Him and Cotter just like driving real hard. Cotter just kind of pushing that where they were going. And then they kind of like settle back down and find a nice build back up to the end of the song. But definitely impressed me. It's always nice. Yeah. So we had fun. I was taken aback a bit. It's a good sign of things to come. I think this is where the show kind of turned, of course, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then after this, the rest of the night was pretty good.
Yeah, and then second set. Then the first set closes with "Please Forgive Me," Chattanooga's own. Chattanooga and Chicago both start with CH, so kind of a nod there. And then SOS to close things out, doing what it does best. I think this is, at this point, this is the best slot for SOS. This is where it belongs. In a Goose set list. Jack, you got any other thoughts on these two tunes?
Yeah, so these two tunes I sort of predicted a little bit, but nice. I heard that Please Forgive Me was played at the sound check, so I was expecting that one a little bit. And then SOS was just kind of like top of my list, what I expected them to play tonight or last night. But yeah, I don't know what it was about that, but they hadn't played it in a couple of shows, and there's some lyric in that song that's kind of escaping me right now. But yeah, anyways, I thought it was a good closer. Please Forgive Me was fun too.
Yeah. It's the best spot. I agreed for SOS. I mean, I think it captured a lot of people's. Christine had some friends that maybe earlier shows. Everybody like loves that song. I mean, there's good reason for it. With SOS, all of it. The beginning and the end.
All of it.
Yeah, and no, Please Forgive Me is a good track. I think it fits well there. As it was, the one cover there that sort of fit in that section, kind of kept the drums going a little bit, and it also was a sign of things to come. We had a little bit of a tease in the second set with it, so yeah, it was good end of the show, good end of the set.
Yeah,
like we said, ended it on a high note, which is always nice.
Absolutely. Jack, set break. How was your mom feeling?
She was feeling good. We kind of wandered around, and I think that's when we found you, Danny. But yeah, we found you at break, and ran into like a couple of other just Chicago high school buddies who have like gotten into the band recently, and it was great to just like run into random people and connect and see how much this kind of band and community is starting to grow. That now it's kind of like a Venn diagram or whatever you want to say that like spills over into other parts of my life as well is pretty cool. And yeah, I think that the Salt Shed is just like such an easy venue that set break is like very chill there. There's a lot of open spots where you can go and meet people up, and like the bathrooms are very open and easy to get into and out of. So yeah, great set break. What about you guys?
No, same. I mean, vibes were high. Went up to, the balcony for a bit, see what was going on up there. But yeah, just kind of, again, did a little bit of roaming around, a little bit of meandering, if you will, word of the day. Yeah, great step break. And again, another short one. Clock management, maybe the best of tour last night.
Yeah, that was good. Agreed. They could have obviously pushed maybe another 5 minutes or whatever, or 3 or 4, right? They ended at 9:55 or 4 or whatever.
This is like the first Goose show I can remember that didn't end directly at curfew.
Like, yeah, I'd expect them to push it a little bit more. Like,
yeah, even a couple of 3 minutes. Yeah,
because like, when did they go off last night for the encore? It was only 9:30 or something, and I remember looking at my watch and I was like, "What is going on right now?"
Yeah, a little after 9:30.
No, again, just when you start 9 minutes after ticket time and you take a short set break, it's crazy how much time you have. So hopefully they do.
Yeah, set break same here though. Just it was good to see people, nice and easy to get around. I'm sure it'll be a little bit. It was nice to be able to catch up with people on what will be, of course, the least sold night. Probably will feel a lot busier the next two, which is to be expected. But even as even a sold out show there, sort of, I haven't seen one outdoors yet at the fairgrounds, but people seem to report that it doesn't, even if it's sold out, doesn't feel too crazy like maybe the indoor is because of a confined space like that. And then just settled back in for the Echo opener.
Well, let's dive into set 2 here. The meat, if you will, this Echo and this Wisteria. Some really great stuff in here. Really solid 15-16 minute Echo to start off the set. Please Forgive Me jamming. But before they get into the Please Forgive Me, there's this one section where they've departed Echo and they get into kind of this floatier space where Rick is doing some very melodic work, and Trevor just follows him into this, upper register kind of area, which is, he does it sometimes, but not like this, from what I've heard. And so this is one of my favorite little moments of the whole show. Just Trevor being in the lead with Rick, right alongside him there. And I thought that was really, really cool. And let's just talk about the Echo first. Jack, share your thoughts on this set opener, please.
Yeah, I thought that Trevor did like some fantastic work on both the Echo and the Wisteria. I don't know what he has, if it's like some pedal or something that he's activating, but like when he is just dropping those bass bombs, you can feel it like in your bones. It's crazy. But he was just great on both Echo and Wisteria, and they both I thought Echo was kind of one of those more patient jams where like there was a lot of build up to it, and then Wisteria they kind of took like more of a up tempo approach to, which I thought was great, like transitioning then into jive afterwards.
I agree. I thought the Echo was nice, and like you said, even for being like 15 minutes, not like massive, patient, and sort of found great space, like you had said, Ryan, before they kind of shift a bit into the Please Forgive Me style. Brought the ending back. We've sort of talked about, like, do you just end it? They didn't leave the song, so that if they had left, are you going to end the set with it? But I think it was nice to just have sort of a complete version. Haven't seen that as often lately.
Sure.
And got the set going.
Lead us into the Wisteria.
Yeah, please. Always love hearing it. So getting those two back to back was, of course, great. A solid jam, like we said, in the Echo, and then getting Wisteria right after. Always always happy to hear that song. And they took off right away. I thought like 5 or 6 minutes in, right away, there's the new sort of patch that Rick has for the digital sauce, and
A
that,
little grittier.
yeah, gritty, and it almost like was like longer sustained, like wah, wah, and he was like sort of pulling it longer than the normal notes we'd been hearing. And then he kind of shifted back into the normal sound we've heard with that pedaler effect. And then they kind of, I felt there was that little mini section there, which was great. I'd like to hear more of that sort of type of stuff the next 2 nights. And then kind of like Jack had said, up tempo, Rick kind of a lot of like repetitive. I know we were talking sort of, and Peter just driving on keys, just kind of chugging along there. Had some great OB6 stuff as well before.
Yeah.
That was really nice too. So
I especially
good
loved,
jam.
yeah,
Good
I
jam.
especially loved in the second part, when they got all up tempo in the Wisteria, Peter was doing some really cool doubling with clav and marimba piano. And
the marimba.
using the clav in a much more like subtle role than it normally is. And he's been doing that a bit lately, which I thought sounded really, really great. And again, doubling it with the marimba piano was just really, really excellent.
It's been a recipe of success.
Yeah, I thought it was really, really cool.
Has been great this year for them.
Yeah,
I think that just pushes a lot of the jams we've heard.
And honestly, I wasn't really expecting to hear Echo last night, because the last time they played at Salt Shed in, I don't know, whatever it was, March of 23.
April,
yeah.
And it was like a whole sandwich first set Echo. So like kind of a monster Echo. But yeah, I thought last night's was unique in its own way and great. So.
Yeah, I think I didn't figure they were gonna be looking at this last year's Salt Shed set lists for
as much
repeats.
As some others.
Because sometimes they do that, but also looking at how many repeats there were from Salt Shed to the Riviera last year. I did, which was only 2 months later. I didn't think that they were going to be like, okay, we did these 3 shows. So
yeah, they probably had like the Riv set list more at top of mind, I would think, like last Chicago show.
All right. Well, moving on here. You've got the Jive Fecta. Really solid playing, 3rd time ever played 1-2 Lee straight in the same set, joining Dallas 2021 and the Fox this past June. Pretty cool. But yeah, Jack, what did you think?
I loved it. I mean, I love the Jive. It's so much fun. It's a great dance song, like whichever Jive they play. Sometimes Jive 2 can be a little bit slower, but I was re-listening to it earlier today, and like the Jive 2 from last night was a ripper. It was so fun, and it kept the like up-tempo energy from Jive 1. And you just kind of knew, like right as soon as they went into Jive 2, that you were getting the Jive Fecta.
Yeah.
I could feel it. But it was very exciting to get a Jive Fecta, and like not something that I was necessarily expecting. My mom, she was like, kind of like, all right, why is everyone getting so excited right now? And then when they went into Jive Lee, her recurring question of the night is like, are there going to be any words in this song? When they go into Jive Lee, they start jamming. I'm like, nope. But that's great. Yeah, it was fun. We had a great time.
No, really fun Lee to close off the set. A little bit of Mario Kart riffing from Peter in there, like when you get the star and you're invincible for a bit. He was kind of dancing around that. Yeah, like a little bit, phaser piano. But yeah, just pushing to a really great conclusion to the set there. Yeah, D, you got anything to add?
No, I mean it was good to see it again after Atlanta. I'd say this set was a little better than Atlanta, which felt a little bit more forced in. Like we said, they had time. It's a bummer. Maybe could have, I think the one thing that restricts them when they're playing all 3 of the songs is the lead just doesn't really sort of feel like it doesn't step out. It's like it's part of the set, I guess, but they haven't pushed that like we had seen with a couple of the versions at Northlands, and then what's the other one I'm blanking on? Fiddlers, thank you. Yeah. So I liked it though. I thought it was great. I mean, Echo Wisteria Jive 1-2 Lee is like is a 6 set, right? So I mean, at the end of the day, it's like I had a lot of fun, and yeah, had, like Jack said, we had enough time. Sort of, they got off a little after 9:30, so we're like, all right, we got to get something big. And
Well, I think we all knew the Madhavan was coming.
yeah,
Like it was inevitable at this point.
after
Hadn't played it
the
since
short
Holmdel.
one,
Yeah,
after the short salt
and
shed.
and after the short one last year, and as Neil will probably say in the chat in a second, the Shama Lam Madhavan.
The Shama
Absolutely gorgeous jam here, but yeah, very Shama-ish. I would say it contains elements of Shama here. But just leaning into this bliss, as Jesse said somewhere, Vickers won't shut up about the bliss jam.
I thought before they hit the Shama section too was really cool. That like there's the part before they find that riff where Rick's kind of just doing the chords and stuff like Shama, more or less. Yeah, I thought the section right before that was actually very impressive. It sounded unique in and of itself. There it is, Shama Lam Madhavan. Thanks, Neil.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
this was a great way to end the show. Jack, what did you think of this?
What did you think, Jack?
So yeah, I mean, I was a little bit concerned when they went off at 9:30 or whatever, but they came back out, and like I feel like Madhavan, Echo, Wisteria, they're all big jam vehicles, and I just loved that whole like second set encore. Whenever those songs were played, those were like some of my favorite songs. But I wasn't sure if they were going to go into like a 2-song encore or just really jam Madhavan out. But I'm glad that they did, because it was a fun Madhavan.
Yeah, agreed. I'm getting fact checked in the chat here by Fierce Critic.
Nice.
Brendan Dunn. Ryan, I turned to you and I said Madhavan was coming. You said not enough time. That does sound right. I did hear. No, we had heard from somebody earlier that the curfew was 9:50 and not 10, so I was a little bit worried about that.
I think they went past 9:50, right?
No, they did. They went past 9:50. So it is a 10 o'clock curfew, which is good. But thank you for the fact check there, B. I did initially think that Madhavan was coming. That still would have been my pick, but I figured they were gonna play a shorter one.
And the encore, when you put it in the encore slot too, it can kind of 9:54. Thanks, B. When you put it in the encore slot, it can kind of restrict it too. Like we've just said, they're great. Even if it's a 12, 15, this one was maybe around 15, 16 minutes
18
or something, right? Oh, okay. There you go. Perfect.
Yeah.
So they gave a little bit more space in this. I think there was another version like encore somewhere else, maybe last year in California.
There were a couple. Yeah.
Yeah, that were decent. So, yeah, and then getting out was great too, right? I mean, really excited for tonight. I think, I already feel like we're only going to go up, which is good. And this was a good show, right? So it's not saying, I think I didn't feel it reverting anyway to Boston. I mean, it was maybe a little slower start and like finding the
still really good show though. Yeah.
Great show. The last 3 quarters of it were very solid. And
yeah,
I think there's some fun set list construction we'll see. And then I was hopeful for some good jamming. I think they found some good spaces that they can work on this weekend.
Absolutely. Anything to add, Jack, before we wrap up here?
Just to go back to that SOS lyric that I was mentioning.
Oh, here he comes. Nice. Bring it back around.
Everyone was there for a jive or night of jiving in the hot air. That's what I was feeling.
I love that one. Yeah.
And it's going to be a night in the hot air. It was a nice hot night last night. And then they came out with the jive in the second half. Yeah. So, all the signs were pointing in the right direction.
Yeah. No, it was a good sort of foreshadowing.
Yeah.
So we'll see you guys
in a couple hours
tonight. Yeah, more of the same. If you see us, come say hi. Always appreciated meeting new people last night, as we always do.
Yeah.
Yes, I will probably be in my Goose Chicago
love it
shirt. So
love it.
If anyone sees me.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in to this day after show. Jack, thank you for joining us. We are going to get ready and head out shortly and get back down to the Salt Shed. It's going to be fun. Night 2, Thursday night, banger Thursday, as they say. So we'll see you guys soon. We will be back tomorrow at 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central to recap tonight's show. And it's going to be fun. and we'll see you there. Everybody, enjoy the rest of your day. Have a great show tonight.